people were like, you know what, Dorna Internationals, guys, I don't know if you'll be able to.
There's still plates up. It's not for.
Yeah. Nice.
I saw you.
Where we were going with that.
I saw she had something prepped.
Where's that bug?
Game. Owner loses half of his HP instantly from a grand game to this.
And there's just not really a lot of great comeback mechanics besides an explosive ult from Owner. Like, he needs to find a multi-man ulti or something along those lines to really have a chance, because T1 just don't have a lot of pick.
Yeah, Gen G doing a great job denying T1 half of his HP. On G will start the race. Man push. They dive Faker. They ace T1.
Discover everyday surprises at SM Store.
Break it, or if they can continue on this epic road that they have paved.
I want you to think about how long ago February is. Right, that's the insane part. It's been so long, and even if they end up losing here, with how the series has been going, it's a complete toss-up for me in game number 5. But even taking that into account, that streak is crazy.
T1's on blue, so
that is big.
that's true. I want to take a look also at these two teams' win rates in Game 5 specifically, right? We saw that most recent best of 5 where Gen G did end up in a really, really close kind of go down early, come back late. They were able to win in that Game 5. I think, yeah, there we go. Gen G pulling a bit ahead in terms of percentage.
I think pulling a bit ahead, but the kicker here is that one of these just happened, and it was T1 versus Gen G in a Game 5. Who benefits that now coming into that Game 5 once again?
I was going to say the case is also that T1 have played a lot more Game 5 overall. So to still have that 57.5% win rate is really strong.
Yeah, and I know that there's a quote from Lore who was talking to Owner from OTP, where he talked about specific situations to DRX Game 5 that he said we weren't taking it seriously enough then, in the sense that we lost them for a very long time. So they definitely have to change the right energy coming into this Game 5. But the fact that T1 is on blue, we do have some reference to show the champion pools of these two teams. So let's pull them up and take a look where we can go.
The champion pools of Gen G. A lot of the champions that they have prioritized throughout are off the table.
Oh, Nidalee.
Nidalee's still out.
I mean, last time we had Canyon Nidalee versus Owner Lee Sin, Owner kind of bopped him.
Yeah.
even though Gen G ended up winning that game. So maybe they don't do that, but my eyes are going towards the Aurora. I really feel like Chovy has been playing super well. Even in the game that they lost on Taliyah, he got so many good seismic shoves, and in their wins, he was huge. So that very well could be a really big one, because I feel like that champion with the buffs on this patch.
Kalista's still alive.
Oh, don't you go there. Don't you go there.
No,
Wait, where's my mask?
T1 specifically, I'm looking down at Keria, right? Because he will end up picking so many different things in that bot lane. They've kind of prioritized picking out the Neeko, but I want to see what he plays in Game 5.
Oh God, it's so interesting, the choices to make for either side, and the fact that for Gen G, this could be their second consecutive MSI win. But this man on your screen right now, Faker, wants to make up for that Game 5 loss of a couple of days ago. Vancouver, one last time. Are you ready to scrape some silver?
They have absolutely been shaking this building every Game 5.
to get their streak at 23 series, or is T1 gonna be able to break their MSI curse? Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the final time this tournament, for the final time on this stage here in Vancouver, Canada. One last game to determine our MSI champions. One last game to see who is the better team between Gen G and T1.
I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better final. This MSI has given us the most best of fives of any rise in an for these two teams. They will enter another chapter into the history books as it'll all come down to this. And gentlemen, we've seen a lot of one-sided game 5, but I feel like that we're going to get a lot of spicy stuff when these two teams hit the ring.
I am so ready to see what the choices are going to be. Game 5s previously have been the ones where we start to see those hyper carries. Game 4 being Jinx versus Derry. Remember also, so that's not available for Team. There's so much already eliminated.
There absolutely is, but these players have deep bags. There's a lot to still reach in and out and grab. And, I mean, Doran still has his Gragas. There's so many iconic picks that are still up and available. We can see more aggressive picks, things like Draven. There's less meta picks like Ziggs, the AP bot laners that you can bring out. Ashe is still available. Caitlyn is still available. So there's still tons that these players can reach out and grab. To me, the question is not, can you find a champion that you can play in Game 5? The question is, can you find a champion that you can play in Game 5 that has a good lane matchup, that is part of a cohesive composition, that is also better than the composition that your opponents have crafted? And that is why Game 5 is so uniquely difficult. There's no prep you can really do because everything is based on what has happened in the series.
The finals ban rate for Nico, for Pantheon, and for Varus will remain at 100% for the series. Kai'Sa and Maokai also banned out by T1, who are back on the blue side as Gen G think about their final ban in the first half.
Still available, but T1, will they prioritize their AD carry? Do they have something else in mind?
Nidalee's available, as is its most classic pairing, the Renekton. So, you know, the question is, do they want to deny it? And I actually think this is quite smart because Renekton is quite powerful at this stage of the game here with so many champions out of the pool. It also kind of denies the Nidalee issue of taking its best pairing away.
Well, to feel that for Canyon, it's just a champion that he's so amazing at. What we were looking at his win rate, 83% all-time career or something ridiculous like that. The Aatrox currently being hovered on the side of Gen G.
And surprisingly enough, Leona still is available here. One of those primary engaged supports that can be very, very popular.
There it is!
They'll take it anyway. Renekton not required.
I would not mind a Leona pairing. You need some sort of Hearts AC, I really do think. Some sort of setup to be able to land those spears, but maybe Canyon feels like, hey, I don't need it. I can just make it work anyway. Kobe talked about it on the desk last time we saw the Nidalee come out for Canyon against Oner. It was Oner's Lee Sin that really did rule the day, but the Lee Sin, of course, is banned out. So many of the strong physical damage junglers are all gone. You're having to reach pretty deep. Things like Naafiri that haven't been very popular. Things like Zed and Talon, if you want to go towards that AD route. Things like Kindred that we haven't really seen at all. Or you have to go the other path and go into some of these AP junglers. Things like we saw from Oner, such as the Lilia coming out.
My goodness. I mean, I don't even know what predictions to throw out when you're this late to the draft. Different priorities naturally rise, as you mentioned earlier. That is currently the hover, and with time running out, Gumayusi will be bringing out his tried and true Caitlyn in this Game 5.
I think we may just get Caitlyn Karma here. Honestly, I do think it would be a really tough lane to contest this late into the draft. But Faker considering just going for the Ahri. Karma makes a lot more sense to me. I do think this is just so smart here. You're denying the strongest pairing for the expected jungler. You're taking a lane-dominant 2v2 with very few answers remaining here. I do think something like Ashe could work, but Ashe has been so unpopular at MSI. It is a strong laner though, and especially when you're this late in the game, there's not a lot of engaged champs. It can help to kind of bridge that gap too. So I'll be interested to see if Gen G do actually consider it.
T1 with a strong laner for topside, with a strong duo in their bot lane in the first 3 picks. Gen G, though, will lock in the Aurora. You can see here 6 and 9 throughout the tournament. It's been popular, but it hasn't been the most successful.
But you have to come back to the question of, is it Chovy piloting it? The man is a monster on this champion, and with the pool as limited as it is, Gen G available, but it depends how confident Canyon feels in what he is playing against Oner. They have so much luxury in what they can limit. T1 can go for, but T1 can respond by narrowing that AD carry.
They could ban the Ahri that was covered earlier if they are trying to really focus in on Faker here. Faker does have so many GPCs played over the years. The question is, how comfortable is he in a high-pressure situation like this, bringing something out that he maybe hasn't been scrimming with recently? Because that can be the situation sometimes if you're getting heavily target banned, and flex picks have been used for other roles in the Game 5 series.
Sylas, I mean, it's a rough matchup in the lane phase, but potentially wow. I mean, I guess they're anticipating a possible Lilian, an AP champion that can wave clear very fast to try and keep up with the mid lane, and that means that they would need an AD mid with the Yasuo gone.
It'll be really interesting. Lily is definitely what I was thinking of as, you know, more of these champions are getting banned out, especially if we do see more melee champs in the mix. When Oner brought it out yesterday, it was versus 4 melee, which I think was such a key part of it being so dominant. This is much more long-range comp. So I do think, yes, you can still make Lily work. You can stack up your Q and look for Q flashes and things like that with the additional move speed to get in on backline. But it is a much harder game to play than the situation we saw him bring it out in yesterday. So yes, we are being pushed into Game 5, but really, when you look at a lot of these compositions, minus maybe the Nidalee, but that's a Canyon special, you could see this much earlier in a draft.
All right, misfortune for Gen G with Leona, with Blitzcrank banned away. The thing that I'm looking at here on this composition, a total lack of engage, a lack of lockdown. Gen G still need hard CC somewhere as we wait to see the T1 picks for jungle and mid.
And that's where you maybe start to really cook. Maybe you go to a weird support here, something that is off meta. It's going to be Viego Ahri. Yeah, as soon as you lock the Viego, I think you're going Ahri here because it's such a strong pairing. It's about that upfront burst. Ahri enables Viego by helping you get that first reset. And then Viego, of course, is helping Ahri as well by finishing off that kill, giving you additional charges of the ultimate to continue running over fights here. Very exciting stuff, but not easy engage tools being drafted. Pyke would give them some way to start a fight, but it is so risky.
Thinking about Gragas as an option as well, the hover.
Gragas support, I think, could be smart.
Oh, they're going full. Ooh.
Nope.
Oh.
We're going Pyke.
My goodness, Duro. Keria was one of his idols while he was attempting to make his way through the challenger scene in Korea. Upon being part of the LCK and having between them, but here he is today matching against Keria and bringing out a champion that is synonymous with the man. Duro will be playing Pyke into Keria's Karma.
The new addition to the team here, Game 5 international tournament here. You're up against T1 and you're slamming the Pyke here. 5th pick, has only played it 6 times in his entire career. Has not played it this split whatsoever.
T1 have a lot of single target damage. When we think back to yesterday, Game 2, they snowballed a game perfectly. That's the level of play we're going to need to see from them. Picks across the map and early game domination against the teamfight comp from Gen G.
They have an incredible amount of single target damage, but there's also so many good targets presenting themselves on Gen G. There's really not much tankiness whatsoever on their side.
This is it. Gen G, can they find the creativity? Can they find the playmaking with this very non-traditional, non-heavy engaged comp? Or will T1's single target capability enable the Viego to reset and dominate these fights and propel them to their first MSI win since 2017?
I've got to say, Gen G's comp, insanely difficult to pilot, I think, here. Pyke and Nidalee, two champions that kind of famous for being feast or famine. You know, you get ahead, you can run over a game. You get behind, you are food for the opponents.
You're the road.
Exactly. You are very, very difficult to pilot these champions. But Canyon, his Nidalee is iconic. He has been dominating on it for so long. So you have to think if there's anyone that could pull off a comp like this against T1, it would be Gen G.
First game in the series that there are no summoner spell books present. So no extra teleports, no extra smites. Junglers both having so much carry potential if they get ahead in this game.
Low engage composition. T1 live in. We'll see magic happen. Gen G, the defending MSI champions versus T1, the reigning world champions. The rivalry that has existed for so long couldn't match or anything better. And both these teams push each other to the limit. This 1-2 versus 2 going to be a tough one for the Gen G duo.
I'm really wondering if the Brewers going to be able to find good angles for ultimates, because there's basically zero setup for it. Aurora can throw down the ult and try to slow you up, but there's not that hard CC to lock someone in place full channel full time.
I really was expecting the Ezreal to come through, having that extra bit of safety into this matchup specifically, but they wanted more AoE teamfighting power. Rula and Duro are going to be pushed back, and it's 2 for 2 now for Duro.
They have the level advantage, so it's just a bit of poke. We are in game 5 here, and I want to talk about these two teams and how they have performed in these game 5s. T1, 19-4, it says in game 5 win rates. It must be 19-14 exactly, and then over on the other side it is a 65 here for Gen G in those game 5s. So both teams have a solid track record here. Not be higher than in a moment like this.
Everything starts. Doran having to push here in the top lane. There is Gumayuki doing the same in bottom. It's exactly what I expected, seeing those first 3 picks in the draft for T1. The powerful laning phases, allowing them to build advantages early. Doran's already proxy farming. He knows that Canyon should be at the bottom side of the map, and Canyon is there right now. Spear flies out, doesn't find anything. Airball on that one, as Canyon sees no opportunity here.
Credit to Rula and Duro, considering the early pressure, they're really not that far behind at all in terms of farm. There will be a few CS, but Canyon going to make his way towards that top crab, realizes that he's not in a position to fight for the bottom one. Faker struggling a little bit in the matchup, as Chovy, on this champion specifically, just loves to play in your face, chipping away at your HP bar as much as he can. The hook will miss from Duro.
Bone skewer. Nice hit from Canyon.
It is a good bit of poke, but Faker likely just going back to base anyway. So we'll be able to recall and TP back here, so not going to be too big of a deal. But it does mean Chovy's going to get the luxury of pushing in this extra wave before he has to base, and likely will deny a minion or two. Guma and Keria shows himself. They are going to be pushing relentlessly and trying to be farming this plate. They almost have knocked down their first plate already, and Owner's showing up on top side.
Owner wants Keen. Doran's waiting for the flash follow. Ruthless Predator Spectral Maw. T1 first blood.
And it goes to Owner. Viego wants to be ahead in the early game, and there's nothing complicated about this game. The wave is just in a good spot for T1. They force the play. They have to commit the flash from Doran, but they make it happen. Keen losing his flash as well, and there's no cross-map play available for Canyon.
Which is really well done. Great setup. Doran had the wave, as you said, Vetty. Perfect spot. And there's not really any outplaying that for Keen. It's the flash stun to set it up. A guaranteed follow for Owner. No way he can get out. They're going to look for Faker, though.
Canyon, no spear connect means no gank success.
But I do love these drive-bys from Canyon. You can be so annoying as an Italy. You come in, you throw a spear, maybe throw down an auto or two, you heal your teammate, and that is just giving him basically an extra potion worth of HP. It slowly kind of pushes the lane in their favor. And because there was no camps really up and available, he's not spending any time, right? He's just doing a quick drive-by, throws a spear, sees if there's an angle, throws out a heal. He's being very efficient, and this is something you want to see from any top in Italy player.
Now Tion will initiate the swap. The Caitlyn going to be sent top lane. Carrier going to start roaming around the map. He can probably help Faker a little bit in the mid lane. You can see him hovering around, just providing that extra bit of utility with the shields. The Pike now on the roam as well. Level 6 is really valuable for Duro. Having that execute just gives you that much more kill pressure. Ruler, though, looking to match Gumayusi on the top side.
500 gold lead for T1. Just the single kill so far in this game. Dragon is up down there in the bottom lane. You can see the ping from Owner, from T1. As the Viego moves to take that first objective. Not going to be contested. As you can see, Doran again just getting the better of his opponent in that 1v1 with Renekton versus Aatrox matchup. This is the time that we're seeing this game flash away from Carrier there with pressure from Duro and Canyon. This is the time here in the match. If there's ever a time to stand up, that's the time to do it. T1 though might just get dove. Make it rain, putting the pressure on. Gumayusi with a flash away. Between worlds goes Chovy and Carrier goes down. Guma goes with them. A double kill for Ruler.
Gen G pull off the perfect dive there, juggling the aggro flawlessly. Carrier and Guma get nothing back here. They do get a dragon on the bot side thanks to Owner, but what a big play for Gen G to be able to pull off, and the perfect place for all the gold to go right into Ruler's pockets.
Chovy's base will be interrupted, but so much credit on that dive needs to be given to Duro because he flashes, threatening the hook onto Guma, which forces his flash out even earlier. This just sets up the whole rest of the play, given that Carrier had just lost his flash. With a no flash top lane, the dive becomes easy to execute.
And when you think about how Caitlyn Karma actually functions in the MF, it's about poke, it's about chipping them down. This means Ruler's going to get to a way faster BT. He's not going to be worried about the poke whatsoever, but watch this one more time. They see the Make It Rain comes through, slowing them down. The spear is there. Duro flashes, working on the flash, and then goes right through, drops the ignite. They can't quite finish him off, just barely gets out of range. And they know how much this means. A start like this could be that first start of the snowball to get rolling in their favor.
You can see the stress of the T1 fans in the audience. Of course, it's only the start of the game. The plate going to be secured for Faker.
It's going to get more intense from here, my friends. The Void Grubs spawning as Doran slices away from the Bone Skewer. Does not want to be caught there by Duro. Likely wouldn't be put in a position where he could actually die, but definitely doesn't want to lose out on all the HP as Owner is going after his second neutral objective of the game. He takes a single grub and backs away. They don't know where everybody on Gen G is right now. We know that nobody was in the area, but T1 now knows that Gen G is also in their jungle, and they're scrambling to defend.
To defend his side. Coming. We look for a threat.
Now Doran potentially ready to block that try-run escape route, but Canyon Duro. Both these champions are so hyper-mobile and very easy for them to take non-traditional exits. So although they wanted to look for the red, T1 successfully defended.
Just on one grub and then immediately went back to his bot side. He does not want to concede all these camps to Canyon. You know how quickly an Italy can run out of control in this early game if she's just allowed a free farm. Nice interrupt there from Faker on the key.
And I think Owner really was hoping that they were going to get more than just the defense, that they were going to get a fight, be able to actually collapse and get a kill. Because that was a lot of time spent just to get that red. They're looking for Canyon.
Beautiful engage from Owner. Canyon, but Italy, no way out. A heartbreaker from Owner is a heartbreaker for Gen G fans as the T1 squad gets a pick.
And Owner is now starting to get ahead here. Owner right back to the grubs. It means they should be able to grab the full pack. And he is getting ahead.
Carrier did a really good job of threatening Canyon, who was trying to to the left of the river, allowing for Owner to set up. Flash commits the stun, sets up two.
Zero. He wanted to try, I respect the effort, but Oner's got it on lock. All three grubs for T1.
Find ourselves very even game state once more. Of course, at the bottom of the screen you see blue in favor of Doran, blue in favor of Oner, blue in favor of Faker. Matchup for him is now securing 2 players on the top side. Gumi usually actually behind the goal. You could argue that Genji wants to be ahead in this position. Ruler sitting with race gold, a completed BF sword 10 minutes into the game. He's going to be the man to watch as we move into the mid game.
Yeah, how's that Bloodthirster? Will be very hard to poke out. But again, I do question, will he be able to find the angle for that big one? That really is going to be the trick. He's going to have to position himself very, very well because Faker, Doran, Oner are all going to be hunting for this MF and trying to stop him as soon as he pops that bullet time.
This, I feel like the first big fight of the game is going to be so explosive. And I feel like whoever gets the first kill really is going to run away. Resets from Viego, massive. Resets from Pyke, also massive. The tankiest player on either side is a bruiser in a Renekton or an Aatrox, but there's no real front lines in this game.
Faker taking a chunk of damage from Chovy, as we've seen so many times before when the two mid laners have met. You can feel the tension. Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. Either side wanting to make that mistake. You have to play with confidence. You can't afford to concede that space, and Genji doing just that. Good vision coverage around the bot river. Faker clears out that bot wave, allowing him to have an avenue.
Ooh. Bone Skewer came close to Keria. But if anybody knows the distance of Pyke's spells, it is this man. He will be able to keep the distance there from Duro. Genji not confident enough to start the objective, but they still have control over the river itself. Duro with a mid for the Bone Skewer. Ruler gets slowed down. Keria looking for the root. Ton of damage on Ruler. Forced the cleanse to get away there, as he will heal back up. The Bloodthirster doing work as Canyon gets away from the charm from Faker. Chovy goes in between worlds. Bullet time over the top. Faker and Oner half HP as they disengage. Viego, no ulti. Jordan arrives in the fight, but he arrives too late. He gets shot as soon as he lands, and T1 back off.
Yeah, Faker tried to flash in, find the charm, could not connect on it. And as a result, they kind of got exposed there. Chovy throws down the ulti for that slow as they're retreating, and Ruler pushes them back with his ulti. Let's try again here. Genji don't get a kill, but do grab their first objective.
The more we watch Genji play this card, the more I start to realize how patient they have to land the poke from Canyon. They're waiting for a hook from Duro. Maybe the slow from Ruler to land a double up. They're basically just chipping away at T1's HP bars before they can find an opportunity to fight. T1, maybe they overstep, they over-aggress, fishing too hard for a pick, and then they get punished. Patience is key for Genji as T1 try to put on pressure.
The Oner now has that trap. Is going to be doing a lot of damage, and Canyon is rushed straight towards the Lich Bane. Are starting to come through. Ruler has had that BP for a while, but Guma now has his Yundal. Faker with the Malignant completed. Thunder's got so even though he is down on gold, he is quite strong here also.
Lich Bane very powerful on Nidalee as well, in range to get the empowered auto attack after. It means you cannot just be standing back as the the spears, which means everybody else needs to be ready in one lane. Everyone goes in, everybody goes for that kill. Sundered Sky. See Doran stopping to get the tier 2 boots first, still needs to make his way to the full stride breaker.
And I think that's one of the most difficult things about Nidalee is understanding exactly how much damage you're going to put out if you do elect to actually pounce in. It's so risky. You have to be certain that you are going in, you are going to be able to finish off that kill. Otherwise, you're so incredibly squishy that it's almost certainly going to mean your death. Canyon is a master of this champion. Best Nidalee in the world. He's going to make it work for himself. He has so many times before in these high-pressure situations.
Duro is fishing for Gumayusi. He finds nothing. Canyon Ruler trying to himself, but it's Gumayusi spills over Peacemaker that applies the damage first. Ruler is providing so much much value in this game. Whenever he gets hit by these Peacemakers, whenever he gets hit by anything from the Karma or from the Ahri, as long as it's not a charm, it's very easy for Ruler to just heal right back up as long as there's minions nearby, so that T1 never feel the confidence to try to fully engage.
Ian has moved away from the money. Is alone, and he will take it to level 11. He does have his CP available. The Herald is spawned. He's going to look for a quick reset. Spend what money he can. Very low. Doesn't have CP available.
Faker pushing the tier 1 turret in the bottom lane the entire time. The skill shots fly back and forth in mid. Keen and Chovy will start up the Herald. T1 to say something else. But he misses. Doran already been shot. T1 bringing in the TP as Gen G go after the Herald. It is claimed and secured by Canyon. Keen trying to get away from the Karma Rooters. Doran is up the low. Doran is low. Kobayushi staying alive, but it's back the other way. Chovy going up. And traded for Keen.
An aggressive flash from set off. Fight doesn't go their way.
And I should never have doubted this man is finding ulti after ulti as the flash in here from Dorian. But Ruler just steps back and finds a massive bullet time channeled across everyone. Guma has to bury, he has to flash out. Everyone has to retreat there from T1. And the counter engage was just perfect from Gen G.
It certainly was. Just the wombo combo provided. T1 had to immediately backstep, and Oner realized, oh no, I am way too deep and I do not have the support. Gen G now with a confident gold lead, 1.2k the advantage, and Dragon only 55 seconds away.
This game 5 delivering, staying close. It's the feat of one. It is the feat of two. This Dragon will decide the piece, the roof. Overall, whoever claims it, 1,000 gold lead for Gen G as Doran is pushing up the wave here on the top side. Both top laners have their teleports available to use.
The question to me is, will T1 try to fight it? They're missing a lot of critical flashes. There are some missing on the other side as well, but no flash on Viego. Renekton, Caitlyn. Feels like it would be a very dangerous fight to take.
Turo again going fishing with the bone skewers. Keen lands the Infernal Chains on the carry, but the Karma's plenty fast enough to step away. Chovy going between worlds, carry the target here at the very start, as now Doran's going to be burst down very quickly. Q3 won't kill him, and Gen G don't get their man just yet. Doran's still getting away, as Chovy gets enough damage, and Keen gets the kill. Gen G execute, and Doran falls.
Faker is doing what he can on the other side of the map. He secures the tower, he continues to push in the wave, but Gen G will not slow down. Duro is fishing for a hook, he will be spotted, but they find themselves a pick. They set their sights on the tower, and Gen G is quickly taking control of this game.
And T1 just really weren't in position to take that fight. Oner was looking for a potential flank there, but everyone from Gen G showed up. Faker's in bot lane doesn't have his teleport, so it's then a very difficult start to the fight because it's essentially a 5v3 for Gen G as the fight does kick off. And T1 just don't really have the ability to fight back in that situation.
Infinity Edge now finished for Ruler. The AD carry of Gen G. The return of Ruler to Gen G. He is the main carry to watch and is the man that T1 needs to shut down.
Drake shouldn't be truly contested here. Doran's hanging around, but Renekton can't do anything over the wall, and Canyon and Gen G claim the next Drake.
Beats the strike there. They're going to get the upgraded boost off the bat. Look at that. T1 just not feeling that they are in a position to really get anything done. Faker spent a ton of time in the side lane, and as a result, is the only player on a team with a gold lead. So he is going to have to find a big moment to equalize things because everyone else is falling behind.
I completely agree. His charm could be the difference maker. Ruler with the cleanse available. But if they can get that summoner spell out, Faker finding or utilizing the fog of war, I should say, coming out from an catch them off guard. Ahri is the type of champion who can change games off a single
angle play. You really can. I mean, even with the cleanse, sometimes the damage could be too much. Also, Canyon is susceptible to those plays. Duro, if he goes in and gets charmed, could also be very vulnerable. There's so many squishy members on Gen G that if T1 can really execute that engage perfectly, they can finish them. So Chovy and Canyon both heading down for Doran. Is going to be backing off and playing respectful to the fact he's actually going to TP out, so very nervous that the collapse. Thought someone might have been behind him, and I think that's why he's being out. They're just going to start it.
Yeah, they're going to take the opportunity to say, all right, we think that they're overloading down here in the bot side. Let's go into the top side.
Chovy
instead.
has MTP.
Are going after the Otacon. It's already down to half HP. Duro and Ruler stepping up. Doran taking a little bit of damage as the bullet time flies out. Doran, 1/3 HP. It buys enough time for Gen G to come alive. Canyon has made his way to the objective. Looking to slide it down. Canyon thinly gets the Otacon. Gumayusi caught between worlds. And Gen G take him straight to hell. Keen, wings spread wide. Looks for more. Canyon misses the spear. Keen hits the Q2, needs a little bit more damage, trying to find it. Chovy forces a flash, and Gen G stand tall.
T1 force the Otacon. T1 bring the fight to Gen G, but it is Ruler's ultimate that pushes them back. It is Canyon that secures the smite, and it is Gumayusi that falls.
And Chovy just barely didn't have his TP when Doran TP'd up. So I think T1 were thinking maybe we had more time without Chovy having that teleport. Maybe it's going to be a 5v4. But Chovy's teleport came up just in the nick of time. He arrives, sets up for that big bullet time, and then it is just a rout. There's no flash on Guma. They pile in, they wins the smite. And Gen G getting very far ahead now.
League of Legends, especially at the top level, is a game of inches, it is a game of seconds, it is a game where the smallest things can make the biggest difference. Chovy arriving in time, Canyon with the smite secure, Gen G with a lead in Drakes with a 3,000 gold advantage are looking good. 22 minutes into this final game of the Grand Finals.
Faker, the only member that remains generous on the side of T1. Oner hasn't given up. Looks to play on the Trinity. This is it back. Will not fall. Will not fall the flash. You can feel how desperate the situation is for T1. The game is quickly slipping away from them, and they need to find plays where they can.
The two I'm looking for that, Vedius, Oner and Faker, both with 2 fully completed items. Liandry's Malignance on Faker's Ahri. Trinity Force Collector on Oner. High damage potential here between Faker also the Oblivion Orb to cut down the
We should have IE on the base. He's been sitting on the for a long time. So we'll see if he doesn't have it. No, he doesn't. He's short. After the S-Sword, so is off on that big spike. And as a result, they're gonna have to make a tough choice here around this next dragon. At this dragon here, because of this fight in a minute, it could be critical in this game. So they have to make a decision. Are you willing to give up that soul point? Put Gen G 1 dragon away from the Mountain Soul.
And when you think about Caitlyn, you think about the setups for neutral objectives. You think about the line of Yordle snap traps to make your opponents have to check into you. But for T1, when you're down 3,500 gold, it's so difficult to go and try to get to the area first. It's utterly dominated by Gen G vision.
3.4k gold lead. Dragon 25 seconds away. T1 could look to concede this objective, perhaps secure the top tack and hold back for themselves. Now with the Infinity finish of Yushi, perhaps gold should be the priority. What will they do about Ruler ticking over to level 14?
And we remember back, the World's 2023 semi-finals, Faker was on Azir, and he found Ruler when Ruler was on JDG, and he found the angle to win. Now can his Ahri find a similar opportunity? Gen G up here in the bot side river. Gumayusi has his Infinity Edge on the Caitlyn. Gen G already with the objective, down to 5,000. Faker and Doran over the backside of the pit. Tag with a 2-fold head.
Faker found the charm and Oner found the kill onto Canyon, but not before Gen G got the dragon, and Gen G win the fight anyway.
The plays were not enough. The Baron is now alive, and Gen G feel monstrous. They feel like a mountain that cannot be overcome. We look back at the play, and it's Canyon that does get targeted. Faker finds an incredible angle, but the response from Gen G is simply to fight back. A beautiful charm, the collapse owner, but look at the ulti from Ruler. Duro keeping the bot lane distracted, then Ruler turns his attention to Gumayusi, forces him to flash out. Doran left isolated as his team retreats, and Keen converts it into a double.
And while the T1 solo laners went deep and did actually kill off Canyon alongside Owner, the problem becomes Guma and Keria then cannot join the fight. They cannot walk through Chovy with Ruler behind him, having that ultimate available, being able to push him back. It's been very difficult for T1 to find a way to get Guma involved in these team fights. It hasn't felt like he's really been able to get much done. Hasn't felt like he's really been able to get much done.
What a game state for Gen G here in game number 5. Soul Point, 5,000 gold lead, really in a commanding position against their longtime rivals as they take control over the topside river.
And look at the experience difference here. Ruler level 15, Doran is level 14. So much experience that he is really strong. Not only does he have that big gold lead, not only does he have the item, upgraded boots, he has all the additional stats from being all these levels higher. He's going to be so tough to deal with.
Big chunk there onto Keria with the spear. Now Gen G's got to be a little bit careful. Owner goes in for the Spectral Maul, but Duro dashing back away. TP coming in as Gen G immediately trying to go after Doran. A lot of damage back onto him with the bullet time over the top, but they ain't going to find a kill here. Just get Chovy looking to get away. Keen unstoppable. Chovy, Gen G is down. Keen with a double kill. And Gen G are so much better in the team fight.
Their efforts are not enough. T1 cannot find a single member, and with the Baron available, Gen G will secure it. Now T1 being shepherded by Duro, they look to secure a tower. They're trying their best to escape. Duro will let them free as the Baron is secured.
Able to get the Baron there. Chovy came so close to dying, but he's able to get out. The ace in the hole was blocked as well. They couldn't finish him off. They couldn't get that critical first kill to try to start the snowball. Gen G are too far ahead. You can't get that first kill. You just can't win the fights. Ruler now on the third item here. We can watch it one more time. Doran decides that it is go time. The teleport was coming in here, and Gen G realized they have got to defend this teleport. They can't allow Chovy to be isolated from the rest of the team. So as they go in, Doran gets hooked, and he just flashes in the midst of everyone, putting that pressure on. But then the turn here on to Chovy. He is rooted up. He is burst incredibly low, but look at Owner chasing after him. Can't get blasted from as well.
He not only wants the ultimate, also gets the kill. Both defense and offense in that play as he swings the fight in their favor.
Throughout this series, Keen has had strong individual performances on his top lane matchups. And here in this game, 6-2, he's feeling great on the Aatrox. Turret destroyed. Down there in the bottom lane, Baroned up Gen G, 8,000 gold with a bone skewer onto Fake. Kill, but it gets the flush. Without the audience so much weaker. And Hex returning to with Faker at 5% HP. Andrews is done. He's got to recall. He's got to recall the fountain. And T1 have got to try to stabilize because Gen G are bleeding them out.
And no one is going to trying to jump wave to be able to answer there, but you can see Keen was pushing that top side. Tier 2 mid. They're stealing away the top side jungle as well. Gen G just getting further and further ahead here. 10 seconds just about until that soul will be available for them. You just got to get out of here, but T1, they may need to try to chase. They can't do it.
That chase may have lost the battle because Gen G you'll see towards the mid as Ruler will waste no time securing this dragon.
T1 are in a desperate spot. They needed to chase after Keen because they've got to find any opportunity they can, but the cost is the inability to find
now get over there and steal it, but Gen G I don't think are going to give you that time. They are so far ahead at this point. 7,000 gold, Mountain Soul against a composition that needs that first kill, that needs the upfront burst, and is now going to have to do so much more than want to be able to get anything done.
At the very beginning of this game, before minions even spawned, Isaac, you were talking about the difficulty in piloting this composition for Gen G, the burden of execution on the champions they've chosen, and the #1 team from the #1 region in the world is showing why they sit at the summit.
Exactly, that's why Gen G is Gen G. You can see these luxury items starting to come through as well. The Zhonya's is done for Canyon. A QSS purchased by Keen, as well as the Warden's Mail. He knows, I don't need more damage. I just need to not get one shot, and we will win this game.
Faker chunked down to half. Duro and Keen putting in a little bit of damage on him. T1, they have no flash on Doran. There's no opportunity to try to go in for that Ruthless Predator play. You can see the Spectral Maw charging onto Owner, but it's so difficult to try to go anywhere near Gen G at this point. They're stepping up, and they're putting the pressure under the tier 3 tournament mid. Doran, but he instantly loses half HP.
Gen G are on the precipice of greatness here.
Oh, a lot of damage there onto Duro, but he'll be all right. He dashes backwards. Owner trying to clear out the chickens, get something while they defend here.
They have been perfect the entire split long in the LCK. Didn't drop a single series. They have been perfect at MSI all the way through the winner's bracket. Did not drop a single series. Something that has never been done before, and Gen G getting closer and closer to being able to accomplish that.
All right, Gen G with victory within their grasp. It is 4